Hello Cosmic Watchers, my name is Adriana Knuff, and I wanted to spend some time today talking to you about this application I've been developing called Selestium Astrology. This is a program that I've been working on for the past few months, and it's getting to the point where I'm hopeful to have some people testing it soon, and so I wanted to give you a kind of an idea about what it's about, why I've been developing the project, and so forth. I'm an American who actually lives in the Netherlands, but I'm currently back in the US taking care of an ill friend going through cancer treatment. And so this recording setup is not ideal, but it will have to do for the time being. So I work as an artist, writer, educator, and musician. For the better part of a decade, I've been doing works having to do with the night sky, with astronomy, with outer space. So I have an artwork that has flown aboard the International Space Station. I have another work that involves different types of thinking about satellites and speculative forms of satellites. I do workshops that teach people how to use astrolabes and about older ways of understanding the night sky. I also have works where I'm exploring the night sky around other planets, specifically planets orbiting other stars, exoplanets. I also do a lot of work having to do with science technology more broadly, so I have other works that engage with quantum mechanics, quantum computing, and sound. Over the past year or so, I've been delving more into astrological interpretations of the sky, so I'm definitely not someone who could be called upon as a consulting astrologer, but I've been developing this work through various courses that I've been taking online. And so last fall, I started wanting to purchase a professional level astrology program, specifically one having to do with constellational sidereal astrology, which is what I have developed Selestium Astrology to be focused on. And I was wanting to purchase a program that focused on this. Unfortunately, when I went to go purchase that program, the website wasn't working, the license server wasn't working, and so forth. And it's not really important to talk about exactly what program that was or anything of that sort, but basically the idea was that I was not able to get access to this program. And it made me think a lot about sort of the ways in which we access our software these days, the limitations that are imposed by having everything be online, everything having to require a license server or something like this. And so this really motivated me to basically develop my own piece of software. And so that's what Selestium Astrology is. Selestium Astrology is a professional level astrology software package that is designed for constellational sidereal astrology, but is also amenable to tropical and sidereal approaches. And it's an open source software, and I'll talk a little bit more about what I mean about that, and a little bit why that's important to me. But basically, this is software that is very much in a pre-alpha state, but I've been using it pretty regularly over the past few months. I started developing it in September of 2025, and it functions quite well so far with its feature set. And so, it's at this point where I'm hopeful that other people may be able to test it soon. And so, that's what I wanted to do with this particular video, was to just go over a little bit about its current feature set and so forth. So maybe before I talk a little bit about why I started doing this, I'll just give you a sort of quick overview about how this program works and some of its basic feature set. So this is the main interface for Selestium Astrology. In this window here, you have a lot of information which can be turned on and off in the preferences. There's a very extensive preferences system for things, but let's just create a new chart. You can do that either through the new chart option here through the menu, or clicking on this button in the toolbar. And in here, let's just create sort of a fake chart for someone named SH. The interface, I've designed it so that it's all you can navigate it entirely through the keyboard. including the mouse, obviously, but I've designed it very much for different types of assistive devices as well. And so let's choose a date for this person, say June 6th, 1975, and this person is maybe born at 10:34 in the morning. And I'm going to choose a particular location for this person, say a relatively small city in the Netherlands, say Zandvoort, and I can just click search here, and it will search through the database of locations that come with Selestium Astrology. Now, I've designed Selestium Astrology so that it does not need an internet connection to find these locations. So it has an offline database of locations. It comes from the GeoNames database if you're interested. And so you can just click on that and it will populate your location, city, country, time zone, latitude, longitude, and so forth. And so I can just hit OK and create the new chart. Obviously, if your location is not in the database, you can enter that in all manually. So this is the chart for this person SH. This is a chart that's been created for the tropical zodiac, obviously. But there's a few things that I can show you with this. So if you hover over any of the symbols or the glyphs for the planets or asteroids or fixed stars or things like this, you'll get more information about its ecliptic longitude, its ruler based off of what rulership settings you have, its sect, what decanate term that it has, and so forth. Right, and so you can do this for any of the planets or angles or fixed stars or asteroids or whatever you want with this. You can also do this with the aspect lines, so it'll tell you which objects are being aspected and what the orb is and whether it's separating or applying or so forth. You can also find that in the aspectarian, so it'll give you more of that sort of information. But let's say here, Selestium Astrology is designed for constellational sidereal astrology. So let's say I actually wanted to show this chart within a constellational sidereal astrology setup. Now I can do that in many different ways, but all charts are editable, so you can just open up the edit chart option here. And there's a tab in the chart interface here called Override Defaults. And so there I can tell it to use a custom zodiac, and I can tell it the offset that I want to use for that zodiac and the zodiac definition. In this video today, I'm not going to go through a lot of details about exactly how to set this up and how to do the custom zodiacs. Suffice it to say, there's a lot of flexibility there. But if I hit OK, there we go. We have the constellational sidereal zodiac based off of the definitions of the zodiac signs as defined by mastering the zodiac. And so here we go. This is this person's chart. And again, I'm not going to go into sort of an interpretation of this chart. This is just sort of a fake chart just for the purposes of illustrating the program. But one of the things that I want to point out here is that all of the information is responsive to the zodiac that's in use. So you see here, Chiron in this particular chart is at the very end of Pisces in the constellational sidereal zodiac, so it shows it at a very late degree of Pisces, 38 degrees, and it will give it to you very easily in this way. Same thing with, for example, our Mercury here in Taurus, 31 degrees Taurus. So any zodiac that you have in use will influence the rest of the information that you see within the interface. So for example, if I go to the reports menu and look at the object positions table, it will give you this information in response to the particular set of the zodiac. So again, Uranus here at 36 degrees Virgo and so forth. And it will do this with everything that's in the program. So for example, I have a way to create sort of a graph of the objects with respect to the ecliptic, and so how far above or below the ecliptic they are. And in this graph, it will also have the signs of the zodiac based off of the definitions that you have created for that custom zodiac here. So again, you can see the unequal signs that you would find within a constellational sidereal zodiac. And this, again, is shared throughout everything in the program, depending on how you have things set up. So here is a graph of those same objects with respect to declination. So, this is something that I think is very rare within most other software, and something that I think is one of the very major unique aspects of this program. Now, couple of the other things that I find very important with this program, and that I wanted to make front and center, is the ability to see things in action, in dynamics. And so on the right here, you have a section that's all about moving the chart forward or backward in time. So let's say I just want to move this chart forward by a day. I can just click forward here, and it will move things forward by a day and just adjust things, right? I actually realized that I want to do this chart in equal houses rather than whole sign houses. So I'm just going to edit this chart again, change it to equal house, and there we go. So we're back to equal houses here. So I can just move this chart forward by a day, just like this. You can move it singly like this, or you can play it as an animation, of course. So this slider determines how fast the animation will run. So if I just hit play here, it will just animate this chart forward, okay? Now, one of the things that might happen, though, is that you've done this animation and you want to get back to your original date and time for your particular chart. It's very easy. All you have to do is click reset, and it immediately goes back to the original date and time for the chart. And anytime that you are changing things, that will be noted. So it will say up here, change dynamically. And when you go back to the original, there it is. It's all the way back to the original. Now let's say as well that you wanted to have a different layout of objects here, and you wanted to test things out. So I have this tab here called Objects and Aspects, which basically allows you to override what you see on the chart here in a very quick fashion. So for example here, let's say that I wanted to show, say, the galactic center in Sirius. I can just load this configuration that I've already made. It'll ask me whether I want to load that, and there it is. So it's already loaded it. So it loads the galactic center, it loads Sirius, and it also shows you those aspects within the aspectarian. And that's something that you can configure within the preferences as well, if you actually want to show those aspects to fixed stars or not. You can also do this with asteroids, so I can load Eris here, and it will load that in the chart, and also show that in the aspectarian. And again, let's say I want to go back to the original set of objects here. I can just click reset, and it takes everything back. I can also do this on the outside of the chart as well. So I can load, Sirius and the galactic center on the outside, or I can load the Behenian stars on the outside, and it will just show all of those stars there, and that will not affect the aspectarian, right? And I can just go and reset that as well. So this was one of the things that I really wanted to do with the software as well, is to allow this very quick dynamic modification of charts, and always going back to the original very quickly as well. A couple of the other sort of unique features that I've been developing with this software are two things. One, which I call the Ecliptic ring. And so this is something that you can see on the toolbar here to just turn it on and off. And the Ecliptic ring puts a new ring on the outside of your chart that shows the position of the objects above and below the ecliptic, okay? So this is very interesting because it can also show, in combination with the dynamics, how the objects are moving either retrograde or direct, if they're above or below the ecliptic, and so forth. So you can watch here Mercury turning direct there, beginning to move above the ecliptic, passing Saturn there. You can begin to see Mars moving retrograde, or sorry, Venus moving retrograde and very below the ecliptic. Right here, Mars is about ready to return retrograde. And so I find this a very dynamic and easy way to see, the position of the planets, position of other objects with respect to the ecliptic. And so I can also add in here, say, some asteroids. So I can add in Eris, and it will show Eris as well above and below the ecliptic. So I find that to be a very powerful aspect of the software. Another thing that you can do is you can add what I call the star ring. And this shows the 1,000 or so fixed stars that are within the program from the full breadth of the night sky on a separate ring on the outside of the chart. And you can obviously animate this as well. See all of this develop. Obviously, the fixed stars are not going to move in the time frames that we're looking at here. But one of the other things that I've done with this is that you can hover your mouse over any of these stars and get information about what the star is and so forth. So again, I think this is one of the relatively unique aspects of the program. Not many other programs offer these features. Right now as well, the software has quite a number of predictive abilities for it. So it can predict, solar and lunar eclipses, and you can look at this over any time range, sort it by particular types of eclipses. So we can look at the upcoming annular solar eclipse. So I can do that calculation here, add that chart to the session, and see that chart. And again, right now, because my default setting is for a tropical zodiac, it will bring that up as a tropical chart, but I can change that to a constellational sidereal chart if I want to do that. So I'll just do that right here. There you go. You'll get the upcoming solar eclipse in a constellational sidereal chart. You obviously can do this for moon phases. And it's all done based in the local time for whatever your default current location is, which can of course be set in the preferences. Also, we can do a very basic type of ingresses right now. So for example, I can search for when the sun enters into Cancer in local time for this particular location, which is set to London. I can do the same for heliacal risings and settings. So, the heliacal rising or setting of Venus is, historically in a cosmological sense, quite important. And so we can get various predictions for that. We can also search for the current rise and set times for, your default set of bodies as well for your current location. Now, one of the things that I wanted to show you also with respect to prediction is, let's say that I want to actually figure out when the sun will enter into Ophiuchus, let's say, which is not something that is very easy to do in other programs in an automatic sort of way. So the first thing that I need to do is I would need to set my current default chart setup to be a constellational sidereal zodiac. So again, I'm not going to go into this in a lot of depth or go through this very slowly right now. I will make other videos about doing this. But within the preferences, there's a whole sort of chart defaults that you can set up. So I'm going to set my default chart to be a custom zodiac using all of the very basic settings here. So if I go back to predictions, search for ingresses, and I can search for the sun going into Ophiuchus and calculate that over the next year. So the sun will enter into Ophiuchus on December 6, 2026, and I can add that chart into the session and show that the sun is entering into Ophiuchus that day. And so, again, this is one of the rare things within this software that I don't think is very much possible within, many other types of softwares, either online or off. Let me just think of some of the other things that I wanted to show here. Yeah, so obviously I've shown how you can edit your charts in whatever way you want. So for example, here, if I wanted to turn this into a whole sign chart, but use a constellational sidereal zodiac, I can do that very easily. Oops, yeah, I can do that. So let's change this to whole sign, right? So I can do that. So you can override basically everything. You can edit all sorts of things. You have the ability, so let's go back to this person's chart. You have the ability to do different types of biwheels, so you can do a progression to this person's chart. And right now the spacing is a little bit wonky with this. I'm going to do some changes to that in the next version, but you'll get your aspect grid. You can, do different types of movements of this that are responsive to the secondary progressions and so forth. You can obviously do transit charts as well to a particular radix chart. So you can do the current transits for this particular person whose chart we created. Yeah, you can do returns, of course. So I can do a return chart. Let's look at this person's, say first Saturn return. So let me start searching for Saturn and calculate that. And we've got, yeah, this person's first Saturn return on 2004. So I can load that into the chart. And so we can confirm this, Saturn here is at 20 degrees, 24 minutes, 09 minutes of Gemini in 2004. And if we go back here, 20 degrees, 23 minutes and 46 seconds. So, not quite perfect with respect to the seconds. I have some work to do on the calculations to get it exactly to that second accuracy, but close enough for what I need and I think you need within sort of an alpha version of this software. All right, there's different types of reports that you can create. So you can create a report of all of the aspects. Everything here is also something that you can export either as a document or as a spreadsheet if it's a table. So again, you can go to the object's positions table, export this as a spreadsheet, and so forth. You can also export the chart as an image. So for example, here I can export this, and let me just do a quick test here. So I'm just going to do an SH chart, export it as a PNG. There's a basic chart database here where you can save charts to the database. There's going to be a certain set of charts that come with the software. So for example, here I can load up the chart of Emma Goldman, well-known American feminist and anarchist. So I can load up her chart. And again, her chart was saved in a tropical sense, but I could convert this to a constellational sidereal chart as well. Other types of things that we can do here is you'll see that there's also 30-degree dials, declination dials. You can load these as separate windows as well. So already this application has a lot of features in it, and all of these features are set within this unified preferences system where you have sort of top-level categories of things about general settings for the program, chart defaults, and so forth. And you can go into more details about this with these tabs over here. So you can set sort of, the general settings. One of the things that I think is really important with the software is that it has color themes as well. So you can set it to a dark mode. And there's ways to also set the colors for the chart to something that approximates a dark mode. Again, I'm going through this kind of quickly, but just to give you an idea, here's the beginnings of a dark mode that I'm working on. So again, that's one of the rare things that you'll find within a desktop software for astrological research. So yeah, I think this is maybe all that I want to show with the program right now. There's a lot more here that I could also talk about, like convenience functions for doing different types of conversions between decimal positions and degrees, minutes, seconds, or decimal latitude, longitude to degree, minute, seconds, latitude, longitude. So all sorts of things that I'm trying to make easier for people when they're using the software. So maybe I will just stop with that. Um, and so, yeah, this software, again, I've designed it to be an open source piece of software. So that means the source code for the software will be available, which is very much in line with sort of the astrological community. So all of the really difficult computations for all of our charts is basically done in an open source piece of software called the Swiss Ephemeris. And I wanted to give back to the community by making this open source. A lot of my artwork, the software for this artwork in the past has been open source, and so I really want to do that as well with this software. But one of the things about open source software is that you can give away the source, but still sell the program. Because what you do is you would sell actually the program that you would download. The source code is more like the blueprints to a building, and the program that you download would be the building itself. That's one way to sort of think about it in terms of a metaphor. So, the source code is something that you can only easily run if you're a software developer and know how to set things up. But again, for Selestium Astrology, I'm planning on creating a system where you would actually purchase a license to download the software. But this would be a license that is perpetual, so no subscriptions, no license servers, nothing like that. Something that you would purchase once and get a certain number of upgrades to, to a major version or something of this sort. And that would allow you, access to the program. I'll have more information about what I'm wanting to do with that later on, and there's more information about about that idea and some of the thoughts around it on the Selestium Astrology website as well. And so, you can get more information about the software at astrology.celestium.net, and I'll have links to that in the description as well. And so at this point, I'm really looking for different types of testers for this. I consider the software to be in alpha state right now. I've been using it for a long time with no issues on my computers, but I really need others to test it. So if you're interested in testing this, please reach out. In order to test it, I will ask you, to fill out some forums and everything in terms of, feedback forums about the software. And I know that takes time for you to do. And so I would like to offer you a license to the first version of the software if you're willing to do that. I also have a newsletter for the development of the software, which is at astrology-chronicles.celestium.net. Again, the link will be in the description. And so that newsletter will provide you with updates about the development of the software and so forth. I'm hoping to have the software be available for purchase by the summer solstice of 2026. But if you're interested in testing right now, please reach out soon, and I will send you information. Oh, I forgot to even mention all of this. This software is available for Mac, Windows, and Linux. So I've designed it to be fully cross-platform. And it basically will run on almost any laptop or desktop that you have. It does not need a lot of resources. It does not need sort of a gaming PC to use. I specifically designed it to be amenable to lots of different types of machines in terms of their capabilities. One of the other things that I want to say about this software is I've developed it without the use of any AI coding and everything like that. I've worked with a lot of AI in my life, but I really find it problematic to use AI coding tools and things of that nature. And so, all of the code written for this software is code that I've written myself. So that means all the capabilities as well as all the bugs are mine and mine alone. So I think maybe I'll stop there. This video has already gotten way too long, but hopefully that's giving you a bit of an idea about the program, about where its current status is. On the website, astrology.celestium.net, you'll get an idea of the current feature set, because there's a lot more features than what I was able to go into in this video. And it'll also give you an idea of what things are not in the software and what I'll be working on for the next few versions. And yeah, I will probably go into more detailed videos in the near future about some of the more specific features of the software and about how to use it and so forth. But maybe at this point, I will just end this video there. If you are interested, please, do all the social media things like subscribe, share, and so forth. And I'll come and see you all soon, Cosmic Watchers, and I'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye.